The sun had already dipped low, leaving the streets of downtown Los Angeles bathed in a deep, amber glow. Office windows reflected the fading light, and shopkeepers pulled down their shutters one by one. The smell of fresh bread drifted from a nearby bakery, mingling with the faint scent of exhaust fumes as the evening traffic crawled along. Across the street, Emily Carter, a young pregnant woman in her late 20s, clutched a paper bag filled with groceries. She was 7 months along, her belly visible under her loose, floral dress. Her husband was stuck in traffic, so she had decided to walk the short distance home from the store. Each step was slow and careful, her free hand resting instinctively over her stomach. Emily's neighborhood was usually quiet at this hour, the kind of place where people still waved to their mailman. But tonight, something felt different. The sidewalk seemed a little too empty. The laughter of a group of teenagers in the distance faded away, replaced by the hum of a flickering streetlight above her. She crossed into a narrow side street, her usual shortcut home, unaware of the two figures watching her from the shadows. Kyle and Trent were opportunistic thieves, the kind who preyed on easy targets. And to them, a pregnant woman with her hands full looked like the easiest mark in the world. Kyle nudged Trent and nodded toward Emily. "Easy money," he whispered. Trent smirked. "One grab, and we're gone." Emily heard the faint sound of footsteps quickening behind her. At first, she told herself it was nothing. She tightened her grip on the grocery bag. Then came a harsh voice, "Too close." "Nice purse." "I'll take it." She spun around, heart racing. Kyle was already reaching for the strap on her shoulder. "Please, no," Emily pleaded, her voice trembling. "I'm pregnant." Trent laughed, a cruel, mocking sound. "Then you should have stayed home." Emily tried to back away, but Kyle yanked the purse, nearly pulling her off balance. Her groceries spilled, apples rolling across the pavement. One of her hands instinctively went to her belly, the other clinging desperately to her bag. "Let go, lady, before you get hurt," Kyle snarled. Then, a deep, steady voice cut through the tension like a blade. "Walk away. Now." The thieves turned, and froze. Standing across the street, emerging from the shadows with an unhurried, almost surgical calm, was Jason Statham. His hands were in the pockets of his leather jacket, his eyes locked on them with a quiet, unshakable intensity. He wasn't rushing. He didn't need to. His presence alone was like a storm rolling in. Jason crossed the street slowly, his boots hitting the asphalt with deliberate weight. Two grown men, going after a pregnant woman. "That's the best you've got?" His tone was low, dangerous, but controlled. Kyle tried to play tough. "Mind your own business, old man." Jason's eyebrow arched slightly. Bad choice of words. Before they could react, Jason closed the distance. His movement was a blur, Kyle's wrist twisted in a precise lock, forcing him to drop the purse instantly. A sharp elbow strike to the ribs followed, sending him stumbling against the wall, gasping for air. Trent lunged forward with a clumsy punch, but Jason sidestepped, catching his arm mid-swing and flipping him hard onto the pavement. The sound of his back hitting concrete echoed through the alley. Jason didn't overdo it, no unnecessary brutality. Just enough to end the threat. He stood between the thieves and Emily, his stance relaxed but ready. "Here's what's gonna happen," Jason said, his voice cold as steel. "You're going to get up, you're going to walk away, and you're never going to come near her, or anyone like her, again. Understand?" Kyle, still clutching his side, nodded quickly. Trent mumbled something incoherent and staggered to his feet. They both limped off without looking back. Silence returned to the street. Jason turned to Emily, his expression softening instantly. "You all right?" Emily nodded shakily, her eyes glistening. I think so. Thank you. I didn't know what to do." Jason bent down, picking up her scattered groceries. He gently placed them back into the bag, then handed her the purse. "It's over. You're safe now." Emily smiled faintly, a mix of relief and gratitude. Most people would have just walked past. Jason shrugged, a small smile tugging at his lips. "Most people aren't me." He walked her the rest of the way to her apartment, making sure she reached the door before heading off into the night. Emily stood there for a moment, watching him disappear around the corner, the weight of what just happened sinking in. For her, it wasn't just about the groceries or the purse. It was about knowing that somewhere out there were still people willing to stand up when it mattered. And for Jason Statham, it was just another day doing what he did best, protecting those who couldn't protect themselves.